Yesterday I went to a talk that was done by somebody who works at Catholic Social Services, or CSS. Now, Catholic Social Services does all kinds of work with people who lack the basic necessity of life, food, clothing, shelter. They also help the stranger, that is to say immigrants and refugees. They help people who are getting out of prison and people who have loved ones who are incarcerated. And really they are living out our gospel reading. But as I was hearing these different stories of these different experiences of people being helped, I began to cry. Now, I wasn't the only one, because I heard many other people say that they cried as well. So it's interesting, we hear this feel-good experience and we cry. It's almost like an opposite thing is happening, but obviously it's not an experience of sadness, but it's one of great emotion, and maybe that's what brings about the tears. I mean, it's the same as, when a child is born, the people will cry because they're so happy and so excited. Now, as we look at this, we can look at this as two opposites coming together, and sometimes opposites exist together. And really, this is the way I like to take our gospel reading. On our good days, when we're being all kind and merciful with the people that we live with, the people that we interact with, we're the good sheep, and we are merciful and we allow God's mercy to flow through us, and things are good. But then we wake up and we have a bad day and we act more like a goat. So in our lives, we act like sheep and goats. But in our faith, we do recognize the important thing is that mercy towards others, especially those who are needy, is very important. Now, this doesn't take away the mercy of God. Sometimes we think, oh my goodness, this sounds like a pretty harsh judge that we're going to face. But this is just challenging us to be sure that we reach out to those people who are needy. And really, it doesn't cost us a lot to provide somebody with a meal, to get somebody a drink, to go visit somebody in the hospital, or somebody that's in a prison. Well, sometimes getting into a prison is a challenge with all the criteria they have to follow. But it's not, once you get approved, it's not all that hard. And so these are basic things, but also this extends a little bit further. And, sometimes people hunger and thirst for our attention. Sometimes people feel like they're a stranger, like they're not even known in their own family, and how we have to reach out to them. And so there's always opportunities that we can reach out to others. But, this is more than just a human-to-human encounter. Christ represents these needy people, and so as we experience these needy people and even hear stories of things happening to help people, is we have an experience of God. And maybe that's why a person begins to cry when they hear a feel-good experience, is because they're experiencing the presence of God. And so that's really what motivates us to reach out to others, is that we will have this experience of Christ. What a blessing that is. So it adds so much more to our experience. In our first reading from the book of the prophet Ezekiel, we know that our good shepherd, our God, is a caring God. And, part of our gospel reading and part of the first reading emphasizes that we have to reach out to the vulnerable, because God cares for them, and God wants us as well to care for them as well. And we center our lives on the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. We recognize that sometimes we have to let things go, we have to die to self, but in that we have new life. It's interesting how we let go of our selfishness and our self-centeredness, that how we find new life in these experiences by helping others. And so as we gather around the table, Lord, once again, we are a needy people who have come to our God, so that we can be strengthened, we can be renewed, so that we can go out and help those around us, and be attentive to God's presence in each heart that we meet.